Chapter 11 talks about the important aspect of employee communications and how that fits into the overall public relations plan of any organization. And this is an area that's near and dear to my heart because I truly believe that successful communication endeavors in any organization starts from within. The more educated and informed that employees are, the more productive they are as employees, the better ambassadors they are for the organizations, the more engaged they are, and the better they'll serve in the role as almost spokespersons for the organization. And the problem in public relations is a lot of companies think and focus, first of all, on the external audience, getting word out to the media, getting word out to the customers, getting word out to government agencies, and so much focus is spent on that. And after all the push out is done, realize, boy, you know what we forgot to do? We forgot to tell our own people what's happening. And when our own people find out about it through the next day's newspaper, they tend to get rather disgruntled and feel not that respected. So focusing on employee communications and the need to inform those internal to an organization is, like I said, a successful component of any public relations plan. So much now in this day and age because of what's happening within organizations in terms of downsizing, with employees being uncertain about their job future, the disparity of pay between the upper level CEOs and lower level employees, and like the book talks about, the globalization of organizations, which we don't necessarily see so much of here in Fairbanks, but is happening in other places around the country. I like Milton Miskowicz, who talks about the 6 criteria for successful employee communications. That includes 1, a willingness to express dissent. That means you got to let employees have an opportunity to voice their concerns, to say what's on their mind, what's troubling them, what they don't like about what's going on. Most of the time, employees aren't looking for a solution. They just want an opportunity to be heard, especially by upper management. Visibility of upper management is another one. The age-old philosophy of management by walking around is very true in this day and age. Employees want to see upper management. They want to see the boss coming around to the cubicles, asking them how they're doing, looking for input. A priority of internal versus external communications. Like I talked about before, employees don't want to find out what's happening to the organization by seeing about it in the newspaper. They want to hear about it firsthand. So making sure that there's a priority as you're doing any type of communications push, that you're getting the push to those who are near and dear and close to the heart of the organization is important. Attention to clarity is important, as is using communication that has a friendly tone as well as a sense of humor. The workplace of the 21st century is a stressful one in a lot of organizations, especially those that are facing downsizing. So the friendlier and more informal it comes across, but also at the same time passing on information that is relevant, it's a very nice balance to achieve. I like the acronym that the book uses of SHOC, SHOC, of how employee communications, it needs to be strategic, it needs to be honest, which is just so important, it needs to be open, it needs to be consistent. And the consistent is a big one there. You just can't send out one email or one employee newsletter and say, okay, that's it, we've communicated to the underlings, no need to do more. It has to be on an ongoing basis. As things change, as news comes up, making sure you're getting that word out to employees. So what are some of the different ways of reaching out to employees? One good way to start is by doing an internal communications audit of those communication tools that you already have in place, and seeing and asking employees, what do they prefer? I think in this day and age, we think that if we just type an email up and hit send and blast the entire organization with it, we've communicated to employees. But remember about the rules of communication, that there has to be a receiver who receives the message and understands it and responds in some manner. And when employees are receiving an email from upper management and the first thing they do is send it to their trash folder, communication has not occurred. So a communications audit can help find out what are the ways that employees want to be communicated to, and more importantly, what type of things do they want to be communicated about. Here in the 21st century with technology, there's some new tools at our disposal in terms of online communications and the internet, but the tools of yesteryear are still quite applicable, such as print publications, employee newsletters, employee annual reports. I love how the book talks about the rise in popularity of the bulletin board, probably one of the older communication forms out there for any organization. Just picture the bulletin board next to the water cooler with different memos posted on it. Those still work as effective communication tools today. Suggestion box is a great one. With a suggestion box, so of course there has to be some action with it. The suggestion box has to be open from time to time. The suggestions have to be read, and they have to be responded to in some manner. Larger organizations can use internal video, but most of the companies we deal with, that's probably not necessary. And of course, the one that employees probably relate to the most, and this goes back to the idea of upper management being visible, and that's face-to-face. Having upper-level management that has meetings with the units that they represent, talking one-on-one with employees is probably the most successful internal communications tool that there is. The chapter closes with talking about the importance of the grapevine, or the challenge of the grapevine, which is the employee rumor mill. And employees probably find out a lot of information, whether it be right or wrong, about what's happening by the person who's in the cubicle next to them or another colleague. It's a challenging thing. It's very difficult to control, but there are some ways to do it. One thing we've done here at UAF is we have a website called The Grapevine, which is located at grapevine.uaf.edu, and it's the UAF rumor mill. The way it works is that someone within the university or outside the university can send in a rumor of something they've heard about what's going on. We'll track down that rumor. We'll get a response from the person who might be responsible for that particular area, and we post it up on this website with the question and with an answer to it. And it's we've been doing it for about 2 years now. It's increased in popularity. We can track, how many people are going to it through Google Analytics and stuff. But it's really a great way of acknowledging the fact that there are rumors out there within organizations, and really it's unwise for an organization to ignore those rumors and assume that they'll go away. Listen to what they are, get out in front of them and say, okay, this is what's really happening. And it'll make a more beneficial environment for all involved within the organization. So I thought this was a great chapter, certainly a very relevant one to any size organization, and one to pay a lot of attention to. So we'll see at the next chapter, which has to do with another important audience, and that is multicultural communications. See you then.